We're back, another 2021 rookie profile. Is Marlon Williams a heat seeker? Watch and find out. It's Brad from RotoHeat and RookieDraftGuide.com. Welcome back to the channel. We do appreciate your visitations here. If you haven't subscribed already and you've watched any of these videos, or you haven't subscribed and you haven't watched any of these videos, I would encourage you to subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. If you have already, thank you. Hit that like. Let's get this thing up to 100 likes. And don't forget, check out RookieDraftGuide.com. All right, question of the show. We got one every episode, one per show, if you will. Is Marlon Williams a top 10 rookie wide receiver in this draft class? Let me know in the comments below. So the 6 foot, 205, 210-ish pound Williams came from McGill-Toolen High School in Mobile, Alabama. Was a 3-star prospect, kind of in the top 100 at the wide receiver position in the 2017 class. If you looked at, Rivals, 247, some of those places, but wasn't, an insanely high prospect, but he did have quite a few offers. He obviously accepted UCF, and UCF has been a really solid program, although they've been snubbed a little bit here and there over the last few years. But he also had offers from Missouri, Cincy, USC, and even LSU. Now, obviously, UCF gave him the best opportunity to play from the get-go and get on the field quickly. When you think about places like LSU or some of those, he'd have been sitting, behind the Chases and the Marshalls and some of those guys, Jefferson and all that. So he made a fairly solid decision to go to UCF, and he saw the field immediately. Got on the field in 11 games in his 2017 season, his freshman season. Only caught 17 balls, but averaged almost 16 yards per catch. So you're already beginning to see some of the big play vertical threat that I'm going to talk to you about with him later in the video. 2019 and 2020 are really when he was heavily involved. 2019 he saw action in 12 games, 51 catches, 717 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then in 2020, he did way better with less games. So 8 games, 71 targets, 1,039 yards, and 10 receiving touchdowns. Didn't really get used a lot in the run game, although early in his career, he did get, just a small amount of action. That being said, what you see from Williams in his college and high school career is, a kid who has perfectly fine size, at 6 foot and over 200 pounds to be a wideout that's used on a regular basis in a variety of different roles. Now, UCF, they typically used him as the big slot. And if you watched this last Thursday's episode of the Devy Hour, you hear me bring up Marlon Williams as a guy that I'm intrigued by, because at the next level, with his size, with his physicality, with his use in the passing game as the big slot receiver, I think he really could be an exciting prospect for you to add later in your rookie drafts. I don't anticipate him being, kind of a first, second round type guy, but, he's an enticing prospect overall. And I think what you'll see as you begin to watch the footage, and make sure you hit RookieDraftGuide.com to do so. Hi, Bubs. My dog's in the video as well. You will see a guy that fits that role perfectly as a big slot receiver. And in the NFL, you can really get some value there. So we're at that point in the draft. You're looking for a sexy sleeper that when you pick them, all the guys in your league are going to be like, oh, that was who I was going for. Is Marlon Williams that guy? Could be. You could be sitting on a gold mine. You could also be sitting on fool's gold. The interesting thing about Marlon Williams, like I said earlier in the video, big slot receiver really does fit his profile and fits his style. I will lay out that the team says he could be the best pure hands receiver in this draft. That's saying a lot. This is a big class. But on the flip side of it, limited route tree, there's some concerns about, the speed, the play speed of this individual. I'm not sure I see some of that. So I think the route tree obviously will need development, but when I'm looking to draft a player, I want somebody who is good at the areas that you necessarily can't coach up. You know, the aggression, the physicality. Obviously, route running is something we here in the RotoHeat are interested in you being good at. But when you're coming from a school like UCF, you know that isn't necessarily how they predicate their game plan. A guy like Williams was used to make big plays, was used as the big slot guy to open up the defense and make some room for some of these other guys. But when he has the ball in his hands, he can do some big things. You know, he has the ability to make big plays. And, you know, with the way the NFL is so spread out nowadays, Williams fits the mold of a guy that can really step in and be productive as probably not your wide receiver 1 or 2, let's be honest. He's probably more like a wide receiver 3, 4-ish range. But you need those guys. If you're on the clock in the 3rd round and you're looking for some value, why not take a shot on a guy who could develop into something a little bit more, or could just be a nice wide receiver 3-4. He has, you know, I would agree wholeheartedly with the evaluators from RookieDraftGuide.com, which is the team I'm a part of. Probably the best hands catcher in this class, or up there at the top. He has the ability to be very productive when he's got the ball in his hands. He's, you know, a very gifted athlete, but I think there's something more there on the mental side of it as well. I think he's solid all across the board. The only thing that needs development is that route tree. And if he goes to a place where he can, you know, not be expected to be the 1 or 2, but can grow into something like a big slot role and maybe even more, that could be huge for you. You know, one of the evaluators compared him to a set of poor man's Laviska Shenault. And I think that's a great comp. The plus that Williams has, you don't see the same type of injury history you had with Shenault, where Shenault was fighting through nagging injuries. I'm excited about Williams at the next level. I think he can be very successful for you. I would encourage you guys, go to RookieDraftGuide.com, watch the film that we put up. Take a look at the evaluators' ratings. Take a look at you know, the Devy Hour that we posted here on YouTube this last Thursday, which would have been the 11th. You know, we talk about Marlon Williams. I think he's an intriguing prospect that you really want to keep an eye on. You know, obviously we're early on in the draft process still. There's still a few months till the NFL draft, but I think he's a guy that's really going to shoot up draft boards, and could be, you know, a sneaky day 2 pick, you know, kind of a 3rd rounder, maybe even 4th rounder if he falls a little bit, and could provide you value. You know, we thank you guys as always. Don't forget, in the comments below, is he one of your top rookie wide receivers in this class? I want that answer. I want to talk to you. Talk to me. Bring it. Let's have the conversation. We love you guys. We appreciate everything you've been doing to help make RotoHeat grow here on YouTube and everywhere. RotoHeat.com, RookieDraftGuide.com. We'll talk to you again soon.